Hi friends! Today I'm going to share 3 tips to make casting on for a hat easier for you. These tips will be useful for any hat that begins with a ribbed cuff. What you're going to need is a 16-inch circular needle, like you see here, a skein of yarn that's wound into a center pull cake. If your yarn is not in a center pull ball, you can wind it into 2 balls around the same size. My first tip is for anyone who has run out of yarn while doing a long tail cast on. What you're going to want to do is to take both ends of your yarn, whether from the center and outside of your cake or the 2 strands from the balls that you made. And with those 2 strands together, you're going to make a slip knot. Once you have your slip knot, you're going to place it on your needle. And now you'll see that you're basically never going to run out of yarn as you're doing your long tail cast on. Those 2 strands that formed on your needle because of the slip knot, when you're done, you just slip them off of the other end and undo them. So they do not count towards your final number of cast on stitches. My second tip is about doing the long tail cast on in a 1x1 or 2x2 or 3x3 rib pattern. So what I'm first showing you is how to do a long tail cast on normally. So you go under the first strand of yarn on your thumb and around and over the loop on your pointer finger. So this is how a normal long tail cast on works. But that's not what we're doing today. So let me show you the difference. I'm going to start off by showing you what a purl stitch looks like cast on using long tail. So you're going to go over the strand on your pointer finger and then under the second loop on the thumb. And then you're just going to alternate back and forth, doing the knit long tail cast on stitch like this, and then doing the purl cast on stitch like that. And then you're just going to continue alternating until you have the full number of stitches cast on.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and the people that I love are getting farther away. They say distance makes the heart grow stronger. Well, I've been holding on, but it gets harder each day. When there's nothing I can do, always a phone call or a postcard away from you. Only numbers, only lines on a map, and we're so far from one another, but it won't hold us back, no. My heart's not pumping blood, my heart is pumping iron, my heart's getting tough.
Once you've cast on the correct number of stitches that your pattern calls for, you may notice that your yarn has twisted on itself, which is totally normal. All you're going to want to do is cut one of the strands that is still connected to the ball. Make sure to leave the tail long enough to be woven in later. Then you can get set up to begin knitting in the round. My third and final tip has to do with this step. What you want to do is to cast on 1 extra stitch than the pattern calls for. When you're getting set up to knit in the round, you're going to slip that first stitch before placing your marker. Then, as you knit your first round, when you get to the last 2 stitches, depending on your pattern, you're either going to knit them together or purl them together. If you've ever noticed a small gap when you begin projects in the round, that will prevent that little gap from showing up. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you liked it and learned something, make sure to give it a like. And if you loved it and want to see more tutorials from me, please subscribe and hit that bell. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.